Welcome back to the Multi-Passionate Mama podcast. Every week I want to bring you a little mini episode where I share something that's been on my mind, something that's really present for me. I love having guests, but sometimes I find that I have these quirky, fascinating ideas that I want to share. Let's dive in. When I was a kid, I was completely obsessed with Disney princesses. I don't know who else was, but I for sure was like, I am the Disney princess. Pink is my color. And I told my sister that she had to be purple because pink was leading lady color and purple was secondary person color. Like that was the side character color and pink was the princess color. And I for sure was the leading lady. I was that much obsessed with princesses. And I very much saw myself as the leading character, as the princess, and nobody else was. But the problem that I'm starting to grasp with these early 90s Disney princesses is the way that they lived their lives. Now, don't get me wrong, I have been able to extrapolate positive messages in the past, and my opinion is very much that you can find good and bad in everything. But for the sake of this episode, I wanted to point out that all of these early 90s Disney classic princesses, they spent their time waiting around for somebody else to save them. And I took that on as a child and have carried it subconsciously for my entire life. And just how damaging that has been to me, and I imagine to so many other women that were also raised on these movies because they were such a huge part of our culture as like these are the pure wholesome things for you to watch and to learn about how to be a woman, how to be a good person. And yet what I took on internally was that I needed to wait around, was that I didn't have the power to do anything for myself. Because if you look at Cinderella, if you look at Snow White, if you look at Sleeping Beauty, none of them had any power, not even Ariel. They didn't have the power to change their own lives. They were, maybe they did, but they didn't act on it in their storylines. They waited for somebody else to come along and save them. And that wasn't always a prince, even though more often than not it was. But in Cinderella's case, she waited for a fairy godmother to come give her a fancy dress, which for me, and maybe for a lot of us, was kind of the equivalent of money. Like if I had the money, that would save me just about as much as a handsome prince would, right? Because the handsome prince also was equivalent to money. So it's like I need either love or money to come and save me from my life, from myself, because I don't have the ability or the power or the strength of my own to do that for myself. Because when we put ourselves in the shoes of these princesses, which is exactly what little girls did and are doing when they watch these Disney princess movies. And I'm very thankful that as I watch the newer Disney movies, that's no longer the case. Like Merida is very, very different. And other, I can't even think of, I'm like trying to think of other Disney movies, and Merida's the one that comes to mind because that's what my kids are into at the moment. Frozen, very, very different. The current Disney princesses have a very different story arc, but those classic those classic 90s Disney princesses that I grew up with, and a lot of my fellow 30s and 40s girls, holla at me if that is you. We grew up with Snow White, Cinderella, even Pocahontas, Sleeping Beauty, Ariel, help me list them off, right? Who was your favorite, and which one did you want to be more than anything? They all were waiting for somebody to come save them, and each of these saving graces was really kind of the epitome of love or money. And it was such a lie that I had subconsciously put on myself. I didn't realize it, because when you're that little and you're watching these stories over and over and over again, they just sink into part of who you are. Like, I am the princess. Everyone should be doing things for me. And then when they're not, I feel like I'm being cheated out of the royal life I was supposed to have, right? Like, where's my prince? So I spent my childhood pining for this prince to come save me. And then I got married at 18 and a half. And then my husband wasn't able to save me. And then he became disabled, and it became even more obvious that he wasn't going to be able to save me. And I really want to point out here that it would not have mattered how much money my husband had, and it doesn't matter how amazing of a person he is, he could never have saved me, because nobody else can save you. Nobody else was able to save me, because that's not possible. We are the only people who can save ourselves. We have to step up and save ourselves, because it's all an internal game. It's really all about our internal world and about our thoughts and about that inner work. No one can do it for you. I don't care what amount of money or what amount of love they offer. None of that is going to work to fix you, because, well, first of all, you're not broken, but you have to recognize your own power and your own value. And that's why we need movies and stories and examples for little girls that show them how powerful they are. And I am grateful that Disney has changed some of their tunes, and that those examples are more and more widespread. But what about us 90s girls? What about all of us who are like, that's fabulous for these little ones now? But as a generation who is mothers and becoming mothers and raising children, if we don't know our power, how are we supposed to teach them to know their power? Yeah, it's great that the media is changing, but we must know it for ourselves in order to teach it to them. And you know what's more is, because this is a podcast that is intended for business owners, if you want to teach that to your clients, you have to know it for yourself. And honestly, that's like the most amazing thing that you can teach your clients, is that they are powerful, is that they are valuable, is that they have something incredible to offer the world. Like, that's the greatest gift you can give in exchange with another person ever, regardless of what the type of exchange is to witness someone and see them as a whole person, as somebody who is inherently worthy and valuable and able to contribute so much to this world. That's the greatest gift you can give somebody, is to really see them. So as a business owner, absolutely, but even more so as a parent, because they see your example over and over and over again. Like, you are the example in your life. As a business owner, your clients probably have many, many, many examples, but as a mother, your children are looking to you more than anybody else, and you have to know your own power, because they're going to model what they see you thinking of yourself. So the whole thing I've been just diving into and learning is really about how powerful I am, and how powerful you are, and how I wish I had known that sooner. And I wish that I could give this message to everybody, that you don't need anyone else to come save you, and in fact, nobody else can. It's time to step up and save yourself. It's time to stop waiting, because you're wasting your life. Your life is slipping away from you when you could be living the most extraordinary dream come true life, better than you've ever imagined, when you realize that you actually have the power to make that happen. But you have to see it for yourself first. You have to be the tipping point. You have to be the one that starts the change. It can be really scary to realize your strength. It can be so scary to step into that. And so, I recommend taking it just baby steps. Take it piece by piece. Do it a little bit more each day. And I talk about this a lot, but it takes time for your nervous system to feel safe doing these new things. It takes time for your nervous system to feel safe, feeling love, feeling power, having money, sometimes being touched by your spouse or by your kids or by a parent, things that you're not used to. It takes time for your nervous system to feel safe with those things. So you have to allow it in gradually and continuously come back to that meditative place of I'm safe. It is safe for me to be powerful. It is so safe for me to be the leading lady of my own life. It is safe for me to have everything I want. It is safe. I am safe. You are so safe. And we have to come back to that a lot, especially when we're first starting to understand the true nature of who we really are. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Multi-Passionate Mama podcast. I know that we can never be told too many times how amazing we are, so in case you haven't been told today, you are a freaking rock star. When you let yourself shine, you allow other people to take off their filters and shine brightly too. It's about time someone gave you permission to be all of you. If you enjoyed this show, please leave me a review and hit that subscribe button. I know you want more of this. Sharing is caring. Let someone you love know how incredible they are by texting them the link to this episode. They'll feel so good just knowing that you thought about them. And lastly, if you want to know more about my courses and coaching, be sure to check out my website for up-to-date details on everything I have available. It's caroleegarrison.com and the link is in the show notes. Always remember that you are a diamond. Don't let anyone dim your sparkle.